Good evening, and welcome. Tonight, we turn our gaze inward, not to the stars above or the oceans around us, but to the landscape we each carry within, the human body, a world vast and intricate, more mysterious than galaxies, yet so close it is our constant companion. We live inside it, move with it, rely upon it every moment, yet rarely do we pause to truly see it. Imagine, if you will, that your body is not flesh and bone, but a vast country. Hills and valleys, rivers and forests, towers and pathways. A living land, not built of stone or soil, but of tissues and blood, nerves and breath. Tonight, we will wander through that land, slowly, gently, as though we are explorers charting an unseen world. The journey begins with a single thought. You're more than what appears in a mirror. Beneath skin lies story upon story, each organ whispering its tale, each cell a tiny character in the drama of existence. Together, they form a city, alive with movement, always working, never resting. The body is not silent. It hums, a low, steady music, unnoticed but unceasing. The heart keeps time like a drum, beating in rhythms since before your first breath. The lungs swell and empty like the tide, drawing in the air, releasing it again. The blood flows in rivers, carrying life to every corner. And deep within, the brain glows with signals, sparks of light darting across networks of thought. But let us slow ourselves, for the point of this journey is not to rush through, but to linger. We will walk gently, as one who strolls through a quiet garden, pausing to notice every leaf, every petal. Consider the skeleton, though we will explore it more deeply later. For now let it stand in your mind as the hidden architecture of this inner land. Without it, you would collapse like cloth upon the floor. Yet with it, you rise, you move, you dance, you carry yourself with grace. These bones are not cold or lifeless, but alive, nourishing the blood itself. They are pillars of a temple, silent, steadfast. Wrapped around them are muscles flowing like streams, rising and falling like hills across the landscape. They hold you upright, carry you forward, lift and reach, bend and embrace. Each one is a quiet servant, contracting and releasing, moving without complaint, moving even in your sleep. And all of it is covered by skin, a soft horizon that shields and reveals, keeping the outside world at bay, while also connecting you to it. Every brush of wind, every drop of rain, every warmth of sun passes first through this living fabric. It is both barrier and bridge, protecting yet sensing, silent yet speaking. If we step deeper, we find the heart, that quiet drummer. Imagine it not as a machine, but as a tireless traveller, walking in circles, carrying water in endless buckets. Day and night, without pause, it moves the river of blood through every street of the body's city. Red streams rush outward, blue streams return, the cycle repeating in harmony. You never hear its footsteps, yet they never cease. And what of the breath? The lungs are like vast caves, chambers that fill and empty in a rhythm older than thought. Each breath is a wave upon the shore, washing in, washing out. The air carries life itself, a substance invisible yet vital, filling the rivers with strength. The body breathes even when you forget, even when you sleep, as faithful as the tide. Above it all, the brain waits, quiet yet alive with lightning. It does not shout, it whispers. Every move you make, every word you speak, every memory you carry is guided by its soft pulses. Billions of cells spark and rest, weaving patterns that become your thoughts, your dreams, your sense of self. If the body is a kingdom, then the brain is its unseen ruler, directing not with a crown or sword, but with silent signals of light. But to reduce the body to parts alone is to miss its poetry. What makes it wondrous is not only that bones hold flesh, or that blood carries oxygen, or that nerves spark. What makes it wondrous is how it all works together, like an orchestra. The violin cannot play alone, nor the flute, nor the drum. But together, under the unseen hand of a conductor, they weave music. The body is such an orchestra. The conductor is not seen. The players are countless, but the music is you, your laughter, your steps, your breath, your very life. Pause and think. Every second, countless things happen within you without command. Blood cells race, enzymes spark, neurons fire, muscles twitch. Each is a story, too small to notice, yet together they form your whole existence. You are not one, but many, united by a thread of life. This journey, as we move forward, will take us deeper, into bones and muscles, nerves and blood, lungs and liver, senses and skin. Each part will reveal itself as we travel, each will unfold its hidden wisdom. But for now, in this first step, let us simply marvel at the truth. The human body is a world, vast as any galaxy, mysterious as any ocean, wondrous as any myth, and it is yours. As you listen, let the thought sink in. The same breath that entered Adam enters you now. The same beating of hearts that carried prophets, kings, and wanderers carries you as well. You are not separate from history. You are its continuation, embodied in skin and bone. And so our journey begins. A quiet step into the temple of the body, a lantern lifted to explore its halls. In the next part, we will walk through the skeleton, the silent architecture, the scaffolding that holds all else. But for now, rest in the knowledge that within you lies a world vast and intricate, waiting to be explored. If the body is a city, then the skeleton is its hidden architecture, the beams and arches that keep everything standing. You do not often think of your bones. They do their work in silence, tucked beneath muscle and skin. Yet without them you would collapse like a cloth with no frame. They are both armour and scaffold, cage and cradle, supporting you from birth until your last breath. Picture the skeleton not as something dry or lifeless, but as a cathedral's foundation, alive with purpose. It holds you upright as you walk, balances you when you stumble, shields your most delicate organs. The ribs rise like gentle bars around the heart and lungs. The skull domes over the brain like a fortress. The pelvis anchors the body like a great root. Everywhere there is protection, design, and quiet strength. There are 206 bones in the adult body, a number simple to say, yet vast in what it contains. Each one is shaped differently. Long bones stretching like beams, short bones packed tight like cobblestones, flat bones broad like shields, irregular bones twisting like strange sculptures. Together they do not compete, but cooperate, forming a harmony of structure. Think of the skull. Its pieces are like puzzle fragments, fused together into a single dome. Beneath its smooth curve lies the most precious organ of all, the brain. The skull is both helmet and cradle, protecting thought itself, and yet it is not rigid from the start. At birth, the skull is soft, its plates unfused, allowing the head to pass through the narrow gateway of life, allowing the brain to grow. Only later does it harden, sealing into the shape that will remain for the rest of your life. The spine runs downward, a column of 33 vertebrae stacked like stones, yet not fixed like stone. Between each vertebra rests a cushion, soft and pliant, allowing movement and bending. It is a pillar that sways without breaking, carrying both weight and flexibility. From the neck that turns your gaze to the lower back that bears your burdens, the spine is the trunk of the body's tree, and within its hollow runs the spinal cord, that delicate river of nerves shielded by bone hidden from harm. The ribs curve outward from the spine, wrapping around in arcs, 12 on each side. They open like the frame of a bird cage, yet unlike a cage, they move. With each breath they rise and fall, widening and narrowing, creating space for the lungs to fill. Without them, the heart would beat exposed, the lungs would collapse under pressure. They are not prison bars, but guardians who shift to the rhythm of breath. Then there is the pelvis, a basin of bone, wide and strong. It is the anchor of the spine, the root of the legs, the seat of balance. Within it, life itself once rested. The womb, the cradle of new beginnings. It is a bowl that bears the weight of the body and passes it into the ground through the legs. The arms and legs stretch outward like branches. The long bones, humerus, femur, radius, ulna, tibia, fibula, are beams of astonishing strength. The femur thigh bone is the strongest of all, able to bear weights beyond imagination. Yet they are not only strong, they are also hollow within, filled with marrow, the soft tissue that births blood cells. The bones are not dead stone. They are living factories, pulsing with creation, feeding the blood itself. The hands and feet are marvels of design. 27 bones in the hand, 26 in the foot. Tiny joints, delicate arches, intricate arrangements that allow grasp and balance, creation and motion. With your hands you write, build, touch, comfort. With your feet you walk paths, climb hills, dance and wander. Each small bone plays its part, each joint adds to the miracle of movement. And yet bones are not fixed forever, they change. In childhood, many bones begin as cartilage, soft and pliant. Slowly they harden, fusing into the adult form. In age, they may weaken, their strength fading, but even then they continue their quiet work, bearing the weight of memory. Bones carry stories, fractures that healed, shapes that shifted, scars left by accidents or battles. If the body is a book, bones are its pages, holding the record of every fall, every rise, every year lived. But the skeleton is more than function. It is poetry of shape. The curve of the spine, the sweep of the ribs, the dome of the skull, the delicate arches of the feet, all of it flows like art carved by unseen hands. You are a sculpture you carry within yourself. Pause and imagine the body without muscle, without skin, only bone. At first, you might think of death, of skulls and skeletons in the earth. Yet think again. A skeleton standing upright is not a symbol of ending, but of endurance. Long after flesh has gone, bone remains. It is the last to fall silent. There is hidden wisdom here. Bones remind us that strength is not always loud. They do not shout. They do not seek attention. They simply hold. Every laugh, every embrace, every step is possible because of them. They bear the weight so that the rest may move freely. In this way, bones are a lesson in humility, to be strong without display, to be essential without seeking praise. And bones remind us of continuity. You're not the first to carry a skeleton. Every ancestor before you bore one as well. Their bones walked the earth, bore children, lifted burdens, lived lives. And though their bones rest now in dust, yours carry forward the same design. The architecture is ancient, passed from generation to generation, unchanged, yet alive. As you sit or lie now, listening, feel your own skeleton. Not directly, for you cannot touch it, but sense it beneath. The firmness of your spine against the bed, the weight of your skull upon your neck, the length of your arms, the arches of your feet, all of it is there, silent and steadfast. And as our journey through the body continues, remember, this architecture is not separate from the life it holds. It is foundation, frame, protector, and participant. Without it, the journey ends. With it, the body rises, breathes, moves, and embraces. The skeleton is not death. It is life's architecture. And so we step forward from the bones that hold us upright to the muscles that clothe them. If bones are beams, muscles are the rivers that move them. In the next part, we will explore this living tide. The quiet strength that bends the skeleton, carries it forward, and gives it grace. If bones are the beams of the body, then muscles are its tides, the soft, flowing currents that bend and pull the frame into motion. Without muscles, the skeleton would stand rigid, a statue of stillness. But with them, the body becomes a river, capable of bending, reaching, rising and resting. They are the quiet labourers, contracting and relaxing in endless rhythm, carrying us through every act of life. There are more than 600 muscles woven through the body, layered like threads of cloth. Some are large and powerful, shaping the broad movements of walking, lifting or running. Others are small and delicate, adjusting the tilt of an eyelid or the curl of a finger. Together they form a symphony of motion, each playing its part in silence. Consider the heart. Yes, it too is a muscle, though unlike any other. It never rests in contraction, never tires, never ceases from birth until death. While the skeletal muscles push us through the world, the heart pushes life through us. Its fibres contract not by will, but by command of nature itself, steady as the drumbeat of time. But let us move outward, to the muscles that carry the skeleton. Imagine the back, broad and layered, muscles stretching like sails across the spine, the trapezius sweeping down from neck to shoulder, the latissimus, broad and wing-like, pulling the arms in sweeping arcs. These muscles hold posture, steady the head, lift and pull. They work while you sit, while you stand, even when you do not notice. They are guardians of balance, silent stabilizers. The arms are threaded with strength and precision. The biceps swell as they flex, drawing the forearm upward. The triceps extend, pushing outward. The forearm itself brims with smaller muscles, twisting the wrist, curling the fingers, writing, weaving, shaping. Muscles in the hand, tiny yet intricate, spread the palm, pinch, grip, and release. Every gesture, from a firm grasp to the brush of fingertips against skin, is born of their tireless contractions. In the chest lies the pectorals, strong sheets of muscle spreading across the ribs, pulling the arms forward, aiding in breath. Beneath them, intercostal muscles weave between ribs, lifting and lowering with each breath, expanding the lungs. Even the simple act of inhaling is not passive. It is the dance of muscles opening space for air. The abdomen stretches across the midsection, a tapestry of muscle. The rectus abdominis runs vertical, the obliques slant across the sides, the transverse lies deep, wrapping around like a corset. Together they hold the core, steadying every movement. When you stand, bend, twist, or laugh, these muscles work in unison, silent guardians of posture and balance. And then, the legs, vast engines of motion. The quadriceps on the front of the thigh, four great muscles pulling together to straighten the knee. The hamstrings behind, bending it again. The gluteal muscles, thick and powerful, propelling the body forward, rising from a chair, climbing a hill. The calves, coiled and strong, lifting the heels with each step, carrying the body's weight like loyal beasts of burden. Even in the foot, where bones are small and delicate, muscles weave to adjust each step, keeping balance on uneven ground, allowing grace in motion. They are unnoticed until fatigue sets in, yet they labour faithfully in every moment you walk. The face is a world of its own. Tiny muscles spread across it, giving shape to expression. A smile, a frown, a raised eyebrow, all born from subtle contractions. There is one muscle, the orbicularis oculi, that closes the eyelid. Another, the zygomaticus, that lifts the corner of the mouth into a smile. Even silence can be filled with expression because of these muscles, painting the emotions of the heart upon the canvas of the face. But muscles are not only strength, they are endurance. Consider how many times your heart has beat today, how many breaths your chest has drawn, how many steps your legs have taken without thought. Every blink, every swallow, every word spoken has required the work of muscle. They labour without complaint, asking only for nourishment and rest. The hidden wisdom of muscles lies in their humility. They do not act alone. A muscle pulls, but it needs its partner to release. The biceps bend the arm, but only because the triceps allow it. Every movement requires balance, one contracting, another relaxing. Opposition creates harmony, and harmony creates motion. And so too in life. Strength without balance is chaos. One must push, another must yield, and in their cooperation, grace is found. There is another whisper here. Muscles grow with resistance. They strengthen not in comfort, but in strain. A weight lifted, a hill climbed, a burden borne. These are the trials that weave fibres thicker, stronger. Growth comes not from stillness, but from struggle. And yet, even rest is vital. For muscles that never pause, like the heart, are given special design. For the others, growth comes only when they are allowed to repair. Strain and rest, effort and pause, this is their cycle. Think of how motion itself is poetry. The stretch of an arm to embrace, the bending of knees to kneel, the rise of legs to run across a field. Muscles are not only mechanics, they are expression. They carry the music of life, dance, labour, play, rest. They shape the language of love, of anger, of sorrow, of joy. Without them, the body would be silent, but with them, it speaks endlessly, even without words. As you listen, let yourself become aware of your own muscles, the way your shoulders hold tension, the way your jaw rests or tightens, the way your hands curl softly at ease. Feel how your chest rises with each breath, how your back supports you, how your legs lie. Beneath you, each sensation is a reminder. You're not stone, but living tide. The skeleton gives shape, but the muscles give motion. Together they form a partnership, frame and current, beam and tide, and both are needed to move through the world. As our journey continues, we will move from muscle to skin. For if muscles are rivers flowing beneath, skin is the horizon above, the living boundary between self and world. In the next part, we will explore that boundary, how it shields, how it senses, how it tells the story of touch and warmth, of pain and healing. The skeleton gives structure, the muscles give motion, but neither could survive exposed. There must be a shield, a boundary, a horizon. That is the skin, the body's largest organ, a living armour that wraps us in protection, yet also opens us to sensation. It is the meeting point between the inner world and the outer, a surface that both guards and communicates, both hides and reveals. Imagine the skin as a landscape stretched across the body, rolling plains across the arms and legs, gentle hills across the shoulders, valleys where the joints bend, and the soft plains over the cheeks and lips. It is not a simple covering, but a world of its own, alive with cells, nerves and blood. The skin is vast. Spread flat, it would cover nearly 2 square meters. It weighs more than any single organ inside you, more than the liver, more than the brain. And yet, though heavy in measure, it feels weightless upon you, flexible, ever-shifting, growing with you from birth until age. It is made of layers, each with its own purpose. The outermost, the epidermis, is thin, like the surface of a pond, renewed constantly. Dead cells rise and flake away, replaced by new ones below. You are never the same skin twice. Every month a new surface covers you, a quiet renewal, unnoticed yet unceasing. Beneath lies the dermis, thicker, stronger, where blood vessels run, where nerves weave, where sweat and oil emerge. And deeper still, the subcutaneous layer, fat and connective tissue, cushioning, warming, storing. But skin is more than structure. It is armour. Against sharp stone, against biting wind, against heat and cold, it holds the line. Without it, infection would invade, wounds would not close, the inner world would be exposed. Every scar upon it is a memory of a battle fought, a fall, a cut, a burn. Each line is a story, and yet skin is also a messenger. It flushes with heat when blood rushes to the surface, paling when fear chills the vessels. It prickles with goosebumps when cold or awe sweeps over you. It wrinkles in age, not in weakness, but as a record of time, the smiles, the frowns, the countless moments etched upon its canvas. The skin is a sense organ, as vital as eyes or ears. Billions of nerve endings wait within it, each carrying a whisper to the brain. A feather's brush, the sting of a thorn, the warmth of a sunbeam, the coolness of water, all are messages from skin to mind. Touch is the first sense we know. Even as infants, before words, before sight is clear, touch is our first language. And it is the last, for even in old age, a hand upon the shoulder speaks when words cannot. Through sweat, the skin breathes. Tiny glands release moisture, cooling the body when heat rises, balancing the temperature of blood. Through pores, it releases oil, keeping itself supple, preventing cracks. Even as you rest, your skin is at work, regulating, balancing, adjusting to the world around you. But there is hidden wisdom here too. Skin teaches us about boundaries. It is the line between self and other, between what is me and what is not me. Without it, there is no division. With it, there is identity. And yet, though it divides, it also connects. Through skin, we feel the warmth of another hand, the softness of a child's cheek, the sting of wind, the rhythm of rain. It separates, but it also unites. It also teaches about renewal. Unlike bone or muscle, the surface of skin is always dying and always reborn. The cells you touch now are not the ones you carried a month ago. You're always shedding, always renewing, a reminder that change is constant even when unseen. And perhaps it whispers about humility. For all its strength, the skin is delicate. A sharp blade, a harsh burn, even a careless scratch can mark it. It is a guardian, but not invulnerable. In its vulnerability, it teaches us to care, to cover, to heal, to tend. As you listen, think of your own skin, the way it rests against the surface beneath you, the way it holds warmth inside, the way air brushes across it without thought. Notice the textures, the softness of the palm, the toughness of the heel, the sensitivity of the lips. Every patch tells its own story, every inch alive with sensation. And as the skin rests, so too does the body beneath. Muscles relax, bones settle, blood flows quietly, breath moves in and out. The skin is the veil that keeps all this hidden, yet it is also the veil that lets you feel the world. From the skeleton that holds, to the muscles that move, to the skin that shields, the body reveals itself as a temple of layers, each serving, each protecting, each reminding. And as we continue our journey, we will step beyond the outer wall of skin and into the hidden command center within, the brain, the silent conductor, weaving thought and dream alike. Beneath the dome of the skull, wrapped in layers of protection, cushioned by fluid, lies the organ that makes you who you are, the brain. Small enough to be held in two hands, soft as jelly, yet more powerful than the stars in their courses. For the stars shine with light, but the brain shines with thought, memory, imagination. It is the conductor of the body's orchestra, guiding without baton, commanding without sound, weaving a symphony of movement, sensation and dream. The brain is made of billions of neurons, tiny cells shaped like branching trees. Each one reaches outward with slender arms stretching toward other cells. Where they meet, sparks leap across, invisible currents of electricity. It is in these sparks that every movement begins, every word is spoken, every image is seen, every dream is dreamed. The brain is not silent at all, it hums with lightning, a storm of signals flickering faster than the blink of an eye. Yet for all its complexity, the brain is gentle in its labour. You do not command it to see, yet it sees. You do not instruct it to breathe, yet it breathes. You do not remind it to keep your heart beating, yet it does so faithfully every moment. It is both servant and ruler, working in the background even when you forget it exists. Think of its regions as landscapes within. At the back, the occipital lobe, a garden of vision where light entering the eyes is transformed into images. Trees, faces, skies, dreams. At the sides, the temporal lobes, chambers of sound and memory, where voices are stored, where music is remembered, where words find their meaning. At the top, the parietal lobe, a map of sensation, where touch from the skin is transformed into awareness, warmth, pressure, softness. At the front, the frontal lobes, wide plains of decision and imagination, where choices are made, where ideas take form, where personality resides. Hidden deep within, the limbic system stirs, a small cluster of ancient structures. Here emotion finds its voice, fear quickening the pulse, joy warming the chest, sorrow pressing tears to the eyes. These are not random feelings. They are the echoes of survival, the whispers of generations past reminding you what matters, what hurts, what heals. And deeper still, in the brainstem lies the oldest, most faithful servant. It keeps the lungs breathing, the heart beating, the body awake or asleep. It is the watchman who never leaves his post, the silent guardian that keeps life running even as you dream. The brain is heavy with memory. From the first smile of childhood to the last conversation of the day, it stores what you see, hear, feel, taste, touch. Some memories are vivid, replayed with detail. Others are faint, like whispers fading with time. And sometimes, even when forgotten, they remain, hidden beneath, shaping who you are without your knowing. But memory is not its only gift. The brain imagines. Close your eyes, and you can see a mountain you have never climbed, a face you have never met, a world you have never walked. The brain builds landscapes without stone, paints portraits without canvas, composes songs without sound. It is the quiet artist within, weaving not only what is real, but what could be. And in dreams, the brain is most mysterious. As the body lies still, the brain wanders. It stitches fragments of memory with threads of imagination, creating stories that flicker behind closed eyes. Some are strange, some are frightening, some are tender, but all are part of the same hidden theatre, a stage where the mind rehearses, repairs, remembers. Yet for all its brilliance, the brain itself feels nothing. There are no pain receptors within its soft tissue. A surgeon's scalpel may touch it, and it will not cry out. It commands sensation, but does not sense. It rules over emotion, but does not feel. A paradox both powerful and delicate, both master and servant. The wisdom of the brain whispers softly. The greatest power does not always announce itself with noise. The brain works in silence. It does not need applause. It does not demand attention. Its strength lies in quiet persistence, in endless labour, in faithful guidance unseen. It also teaches that complexity and fragility walk hand in hand. For all its networks and sparks, the brain is vulnerable. A fall, a lack of oxygen, a moment's injury can disrupt its delicate storm. In this way, it reminds us of the preciousness of what we carry. To think, to remember, to love, to dream. None of these are guaranteed. They are gifts, entrusted to us with every heartbeat. And perhaps the greatest lesson is this. The brain does not act alone. It is conductor, yes, but it needs the players, the heart's drum, the lungs' breath, the muscles' tide, the bones' frame. Without them, it cannot perform. The body is not ruled by one, but by many in harmony. As you listen now, think of your own brain. Within your skull, as you lie in rest, billions of sparks leap and fade, faster than stars. They weave together the sound of this voice, the meaning of these words, the image of the world around you. You're not separate from the story of the brain. You're the story itself, told by its quiet sparks. And as our journey moves forward, we will follow those sparks along their branches. We will trace the rivers of electricity that flow from brain to body, from body back to brain. We will walk the pathways of the nervous system, the threads of a light that carry every thought, every sensation, every command. If the brain is the conductor, then the nervous system is the orchestra's strings. Threads stretched across the body, carrying vibrations from one place to another. It is a network so vast that if every nerve in your body were laid end to end, they would stretch thousands of miles. Yet they are so fine, so delicate, they weave invisibly beneath the skin, unseen and unnoticed, until they carry a spark. Imagine a tree, its branches spreading wide, its roots stretching deep. Now imagine millions of such trees, each reaching toward one another, touching not with wood but with light. That is the nervous system, an endless forest of connections, signals racing through it faster than any wind, carrying messages in silence. It begins at the brain, the master hub. From there, the spinal cord descends, a thick trunk of nerves encased in the bones of the spine, protected as though it were the most precious river. From this trunk, branches extend outward through the body, splitting into smaller and smaller twigs, until every fingertip, every toe, every strand of skin is touched by their presence. There are two great pathways within this system. One carries messages outward, the brain telling muscles to move, telling the heart to quicken, telling the lungs to draw deeper. The other carries messages inward, the skin whispering of warmth, the ears carrying sound, the eyes sending light, the stomach sending fullness or hunger. Outward and inward, command and report, action and awareness. The dialogue never stops. When you place your hand upon a flame, the nerves in your skin shout their alarm. The message races up the arm through the spinal cord into the brain. But often the body does not wait. The spinal cord itself, like a quick sentinel, responds at once, pulling the hand back even before the brain has finished reading the message. Reflex protection faster than thought. There are nerves so fine they measure less than a hair in width, yet they carry the power to move entire limbs, and there are nerves so long they travel from the spine down to the foot, stretching more than a metre. Together, long and short, thick and fine, they weave a web that links the body into one. But the nervous system is not only about movement and sensation, it is also the keeper of balance between rest and action. There is the sympathetic system, like fire, that rouses the body, quickening pulse, sharpening senses, preparing to fight or flee. And there is the parasympathetic system, like water, that calms, slowing heartbeat, deepening breath, guiding digestion, lulling the body toward rest. Fire and water, rising and falling, each necessary, each balancing the other. Without one, we would never wake. Without the other, we would never sleep. Think of how this plays out in a single moment. You walk through a forest, the air cool and still. A sudden noise startles you. The sympathetic system leaps into action. Your pulse quickens, your muscles tighten, your breath sharpens. Then you realize it is only a bird taking flight. Slowly the parasympathetic takes over. Your heart steadies, your breath softens, your muscles release. The dance of nerves has saved you, then soothed you without your command. The wisdom here is quiet but deep. The nervous system shows us that awareness and action are inseparable. You cannot act without first sensing, and you cannot sense without it shaping your action. The body is not a collection of parts, but a dialogue, a conversation always ongoing. It also whispers that balance is life. Too much fire and the body burns in constant stress. Too much water and the body drifts in lethargy. But in the rhythm between them, we find health. Alertness without panic, calm without collapse, and perhaps most humbling, it reminds us that so much of what we are is automatic. You do not command your heart to race when you run, nor your stomach to churn when you eat, nor your eyes to widen when surprised. These things happen beneath thought, guided by the silent currents of nerves. Life is not always in your hands, yet it flows faithfully within you. Consider for a moment the simplest act, lifting your finger. Within that motion, countless sparks leap across synapses, countless messages travel from brain to spinal cord, from cord to arm, from arm to finger. Muscles contract, tendons pull, bones shift, all for one small gesture. The complexity is hidden, but the motion feels effortless. That is the beauty of the nervous system. It makes the intricate seem simple. And what of sensation? The brush of cloth, the warmth of a cup, the sting of cold air, all of it is electricity translated into feeling. Touch is not in the skin, it is in the brain, interpreting the messages nerves deliver. The body does not simply exist in the world, it experiences the world through these threads of light. Even pain, though unwelcome, is a teacher. Without nerves, you would not pull from fire, not shield from harm. Pain is not cruelty, but a signal, a whisper from the body that something needs tending, and in its way, it protects you more than comfort ever could. As you listen, imagine your own nervous system, a tree within you, branches reaching outward, sparks flickering silently, carrying the messages that keep you alive. Every movement of your chest, every beat of your heart, every shift of your body as you rest is guided by this hidden network. You're not aware of it, yet it never leaves you. From the stillness of the brain to the threads of the nerves, the journey continues. We have followed thought into sensation, command into action. And now, as we step deeper, we come to the heart, the tireless drummer, the keeper of a rhythm, the pulse that carries life into every corner of this vast inner land. At the centre of the chest, beneath the shield of ribs, lies the most faithful companion you have ever known, the heart. It is not loud, though its beat can be felt in moments of fear or love, racing like a drum in your chest. Most of the time, it works in silence, unnoticed, yet never stopping. From the first beat before birth until the last, it keeps time. It is the keeper of rhythm, the drummer of life. Imagine the heart not as a machine, though it pumps, nor as a simple organ, though it is muscle. Think of it as a river's source, a spring that never dries. Day and night, waking and sleeping, it sends its current outward, blood filled with oxygen and nourishment, and receives it back, carrying away what is spent. The cycle is unbroken, the tide eternal. The heart is small, about the size of a fist, yet within that smallness lies immense strength. It beats more than 100,000 times each day, moving gallons of blood through miles of vessels. If you placed your ear close, you would hear its steady lub-dub like footsteps in an endless corridor. Quiet, constant, reassuring. It has 4 chambers, like rooms in a house, 2 above, 2 below. The atria receive, blood returning from its journey, weary but faithful. The ventricles send it out again, renewed, filled with oxygen drawn from the lungs. Valves open and close between them, doors that swing in rhythm, ensuring the flow always moves forward. Each sound of the heartbeat is the door's gentle clap, a signal that the cycle continues. The heart is not alone in its labour. It works with the lungs, for the blood it sends must first be renewed with breath. With every inhale, oxygen flows into the lungs, into the blood, into the heart. With every exhale, the waste of life, carbon dioxide, is released. Heart and lung, drum and bellows, work together in a harmony older than memory. But the heart is more than pump and chamber. For centuries, people have felt it as the seat of emotion. We say my heart is heavy when sorrow fills us. My heart races when joy or fear overtakes us. My heart is full when love expands beyond words. The heart is not only muscle, it is symbol, a language of feeling. Whether or not it truly holds emotion, it mirrors them in rhythm. When fear comes, it races. When calm returns, it slows. When love stirs, it beats stronger. The body and soul speak through its rhythm. Think of the wisdom hidden here. The heart reminds us that life is rhythm. Not constant speed, but rise and fall, quickening and slowing. There are moments when it races, when the body prepares for flight or effort. And there are moments when it rests, slowing, steadying. To live well is to move with rhythm, to honour the quick and the calm alike. It also teaches us persistence. No other muscle in the body works so tirelessly. The arm may grow weary, the legs may falter, even the mind may wander, but the heart does not pause. It contracts and releases, through joy and sorrow, through health and illness, through waking and sleeping. It does not ask permission. It does not seek recognition. It simply works, faithful until the end. As you sit or lie here, listening, pause to notice your own heartbeat. Perhaps you feel it in your chest or at the base of your throat or softly in your wrist. A quiet thump, steady and sure. That rhythm has been with you since before you ever opened your eyes, and it has never abandoned you, not once. Blood moves out from the heart through arteries thick and strong, built to bear the surge of each beat. It travels outward, branching into smaller vessels, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Then it returns through veins, calmer now, carrying waste to be cleansed, ready for renewal. A river system, endless, sustained by the heart's pumping. The heart, then, is both strength and humility. It holds the power to keep the body alive, yet it does not boast. It works unseen, beneath ribs, beneath skin, its sound muffled, its labour hidden. Only in silence can we hear it clearly. Only in stillness can we feel its true presence. There is wisdom in its vulnerability too, for though it is strong, the heart is also fragile. A sudden injury, a blocked vessel, a faltering rhythm can end its work. Its endurance is matched by its delicacy, reminding us of life's balance, strength always held in tension with fragility. And perhaps this is why we speak of the heart in love, in grief, in courage, for these are the states in which we are both strongest and most vulnerable. To give your heart is to offer both power and fragility. To break the heart is to wound deeply. To open the heart is to trust. As you rest, think of the countless times your heart has carried you, through laughter that shook your chest, through fear that made it pound, through sorrow that made it ache, through quiet nights when it beat softly as you drifted to sleep. Always it was there, carrying you onward. The body's symphony would fall silent without it. The brain might send commands, the lungs might draw air, the muscles might wait ready, but without the heart's steady rhythm, the river of life would cease. It is the drummer at the centre of the circle, the one who keeps time so all else can play. And as we continue our journey through the body, the next step flows naturally outward from this centre. For what is the heart without the rivers it feeds? What is the drummer without the song carried on its rhythm? In the next part, we will follow the blood itself, tracing its endless pathways, red and blue, through the circulatory system, the rivers of life that connect every corner of the body. The heart beats, but it is not alone in its work. A drummer without a song is silence. The rhythm of the heart is carried outward into vast rivers, channels that flow through every corner of the body. These are the vessels of the circulatory system, the red and blue streams that sustain life. Imagine for a moment that your body is a great kingdom. The heart is the throne room where rhythm is set. But a throne room is nothing if the kingdom beyond is not reached. So the blood flows outward, couriers carrying messages, food, warmth and strength. They reach every village of cells, every outpost of tissue, no matter how small or hidden. There are two kinds of rivers. The first carry blood rich with oxygen, fresh from the lungs, bright red and eager. These are the arteries. They leave the heart with each contraction, surging forward in powerful waves. Their walls are thick and strong, built to withstand the pressure of the drumbeat. The largest of these, the aorta, rises from the heart like a mighty trunk, branching outward into highways that travel north to the head, south to the legs, and outward to the arms. The second kind of rivers are the veins. Their blood is darker, bluer, carrying what is used, what is spent, what needs renewal. They bring it back to the heart, a steady return journey, calmer but no less faithful. Their walls are thinner, but they are built with clever valves, one-way doors that keep the blood moving upward against gravity, returning home. And between these great rivers lie the capillaries, the narrowest streams, finer than a hair, so small that blood cells must pass single file. Here is where the true exchange happens. Oxygen steps out of the blood and into the cell. Carbon dioxide, the waste of life, steps in, ready to be carried away. Nutrients pass across, energy delivered like gifts left at the doorstep. It is in these tiny passages that the great labour of circulation finds its meaning. Think of the journey of a single red blood cell. Born in the marrow of bone, it enters the bloodstream and begins its long voyage. Swept into the heart, it is sent rushing to the lungs, where it drinks deeply of oxygen. Then, renewed, it surges back into the heart's left side and is thrust into the arteries, carried toward the brain, or the hands, or the feet. It slips into capillaries, delivers its treasure, picks up waste, and begins the slow journey home through veins. This trip lasts less than a minute, and then it repeats, again and again, for 120 days, until the cell grows old and is replaced. Countless cells repeating countless journeys, rivers of devotion, cycling endlessly. There is wisdom in this cycle. The blood reminds us that giving and returning are both essential. It delivers, but it also gathers. It nourishes, but it also cleanses. Without giving, the body would starve. Without returning, it would drown in its own waste. Both are needed, and both are honoured in the endless tide. It also reminds us that strength is not only in the mighty but in the small. The aorta may be vast, the veins may be long, but it is in the capillaries, invisible to the eye, that the true exchange happens. The smallest streams carry the greatest meaning. So too in life. It is not always the grand gestures, but the small unseen acts that sustain. The circulatory system is not only about blood, it also carries warmth. The blood flows near the skin when heat needs release, cooling the body with sweat. It flows deeper when cold strikes, preserving warmth for the heart and brain. Temperature, balance, comfort, all regulated by this ceaseless flow, and the blood is a defender as well. Within it move white cells, guardians of the body seeking out intruders, repairing damage, warding off infection. They travel the same rivers, but their purpose is battle and healing. The blood is not only nourishment but protection. As you rest, Think of these rivers within you. Right now, in this moment, blood rushes through your chest, out through your arms, down through your legs, into every fingertip and toe. It returns again, unseen, unfelt, yet faithful. Every cell in your body, trillions in number, is touched by these rivers every moment, without pause. You're not separate from them. You are them. Consider too the harmony between systems. The lungs give breath, the heart gives rhythm, the blood gives delivery. None works alone. All are woven together. A breath taken in becomes oxygen in blood. A heartbeat sends it outward. A muscle uses it, creates waste, sends it back. The cycle is complete. Each part depends on the other. Each part plays its role. And perhaps the deepest wisdom is this: life is movement. Blood that stops flowing is no longer blood. A river that does not move becomes stagnant. So too with the body, so too with the spirit. Life requires motion, not always fast, but always flowing. To move, to give, to return. This is the essence of vitality. As you lie still, know that within you there is no stillness. Your rivers surge and return, your cells are nourished, your body sustained. Even in rest you are in motion, a tide that never ends. And so we leave the rivers here, flowing on in their silence, faithful and unseen. From the rivers of blood, our journey carries us naturally to the bellows of breath. For it is in the lungs that these rivers are renewed, filled with oxygen, emptied of waste. In the next part, we will enter those vast chambers of air where breath becomes life, where the body meets the world with every inhale and every exhale. The rivers of blood cannot carry their treasure alone. They need air, the invisible gift drawn from the world around us. This is the work of the lungs, two vast chambers within the chest, soft and spongy, yet mighty in their task. They are the bellows of the body, rising and falling in an endless rhythm, drawing in life and releasing what is spent. The lungs are not hard machines, but delicate gardens. Within them lie branching trees of airways, each splitting again and again into smaller paths. It begins with the trachea, the windpipe, a single sturdy trunk descending from the throat. Then it divides into the bronchi, one leading left, one right, like great branches. These branch again into bronchioles, thinner and thinner, until they end in clusters of tiny sacs, the alveoli. Here, in these microscopic chambers, the miracle happens. The alveoli are small, but they are countless. Around 300 million fill the lungs, each wrapped in fine capillaries. The wall between them is thinner than paper, yet across it the most important exchange of all takes place. Oxygen passes from air to blood, slipping across the barrier with ease. Carbon dioxide, the waste of the body, passes the other way, ready to be breathed out. With every inhale, renewal. With every exhale, release. Think of how constant this rhythm has been in your life. From your first cry at birth, when your lungs opened like flowers for the first time, to this very moment as you rest and listen, the lungs have never ceased their rising and falling. You may forget them, but they do not forget you. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Always faithful, always present. Breathing is more than exchange. It is also balance. With each breath, the body finds harmony. Too shallow, and the blood grows heavy with carbon dioxide. Too deep, and the rhythm may falter. But the body knows without thought. Sensors within the brain. Within the vessels measure constantly, adjusting the rate, the depth, the rhythm. You need not command it. It happens as surely as the tide washing in and out, in and out. Breath is life, yet it is also connection. With every inhale, you take in part of the world. Molecules of oxygen that once drifted through forests, oceans, clouds. With every exhale, you return part of yourself to the air. Carbon that will feed plants, that will circle back into the cycle of life. You're not separate from the world. Each breath reminds you of your bond with it. There is wisdom here. Breath teaches impermanence. You cannot hold it forever. Try, and soon the body insists on release. Life requires letting go as much as it requires taking in. To cling too tightly is to suffocate. To release is to live. In this, the lungs remind us of balance. to receive, to release, to flow with the rhythm of existence. Consider how the lungs serve not only in stillness but in effort. When you run, they quicken. When you climb, they deepen. When you rest, they slow. Always they adjust, matching the need, faithful to the demand. Yet they never resent. They simply expand, contract, answering the call. And think of how breath mirrors emotion. In fear, it grows sharp and rapid. In sorrow, it heaves with sobs. In joy, it bursts with laughter. In calm, it softens into slow waves. The lungs are not only mechanics, they are mirrors of the soul, reflecting inner states in outward rhythm. Breath has always been more than biology. Across cultures and ages, it has been seen as spirit, as life force. In Hebrew, ruach means both breath and spirit. In Greek, pneuma carries the same double meaning. In Sanskrit, prana is breath, but also life itself. Humanity has long known that to breathe is to live, and to live is to breathe. As you rest, bring awareness to your own breath, the gentle rise of the chest, the soft fall, the air brushing the nostrils, cool as it enters, warm as it leaves, the rhythm steady, patient, unhurried. This is your anchor, the simplest reminder of life's presence. Each breath is a gift, unnoticed until it falters, yet always there, sustaining. The lungs also teach us about hidden strength in softness. They are delicate, fragile even, vulnerable to harm from smoke, from poison, from disease, and yet within their fragility lies resilience. They heal, they renew, they adapt. Their spongy walls, so easily damaged, are also capable of immense recovery. They show us that strength is not only in hardness, but in persistence, in the ability to rise and fall without end. Think too of the silence of breath. You may not hear it unless you listen closely, and yet, if it were gone, the silence would be absolute. Breath is the quiet background of existence, always there, always faithful. Like the heartbeat, it is a rhythm that accompanies you from beginning to end. And yet, for all its faithfulness, breath also connects us to mortality. One day, the breath will not return. And so, each inhale is precious, each exhale a gift. To live is to breathe, and to breathe is to be alive. As we close this chapter, let the lungs remain in your awareness, the bellows of life, the tide within, drawing in the world, releasing yourself into it. They are not only organs, they are companions, reminding you of rhythm, balance, and connection. From here, our journey turns downward into the long, winding path of nourishment. For what breath is to air, digestion is to food. In the next part, we will follow that hidden furnace, the digestive system, and see how the body transforms what it consumes into energy, into growth, into life itself. If the lungs draw in air and the heart sends blood, then there must also be a way to gather fuel, food and drink transformed into the energy that sustains every beat, every breath, every thought. This is the role of the digestive system, the hidden furnace of the body. It is not a single chamber, but a long winding journey, a path that stretches nearly 30 feet within you, twisting and folding, unseen yet tireless. It begins in the mouth. Here, digestion is not only swallowing but sensing. The tongue greets the world with taste. Sweet, bitter, salty, sour, savoury. 5 notes in an endless symphony of flavour. Teeth grind and tear, reducing food into fragments. Saliva, clear and humble, begins its quiet work, softening, breaking down starch, preparing what enters for the journey ahead. Swallow, and the mouth hands its burden to the throat, into the esophagus, a tube of muscle that does not simply allow food to fall but pushes it downward in waves. Even if you were upside down, it would still carry food into the stomach. This faithful path works not by gravity but by rhythm, a series of squeezes guiding each mouthful along. The stomach waits like a hidden cauldron, a pouch of muscle, curved and strong. It churns and squeezes, mixing food with acid and enzymes. What you once recognized as bread or fruit or meat becomes unrecognizable here. transformed into a thick soup called chyme. It is not destruction, but transformation, breaking down what was whole into what can nourish. The stomach is a patient worker, sometimes holding food for hours, releasing it only when ready, in small streams into the small intestine. The small intestine is not small in length. It stretches more than 20 feet, looping and folding within the belly. Here the true miracle unfolds. The walls of this passage are not smooth, but covered in millions of tiny fingers called villi, and even tinier ones called microvilli. Together, they create a surface vast enough to cover an entire tennis court. This is where food becomes part of you. Sugars, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, all are absorbed into blood and lymph, carried away to nourish cells, to build a muscle, to fuel thought. But the intestine does not work alone. The liver, vast and red, filters and produces bile, a greenish fluid that breaks down fat into droplets. The gallbladder, small but loyal, stores this bile and releases it when needed. The pancreas, tucked beneath the stomach, releases enzymes, powerful workers that slice molecules into smaller and smaller pieces. It is a team of organs, each adding their part to the alchemy of digestion. What is not absorbed moves onward, into the large intestine. Here the pace slows. Water is drawn out, waste is compacted. Bacteria, countless, unseen, continue the work, breaking down what remains, producing vitamins, balancing the system. These companions, though small, are vital, living within you in partnership. Without them, digestion falters. With them, the cycle completes. Finally, what is left is expelled, the end of the journey. It is a process as natural as the rising of the sun, often unnoticed, yet as essential as breath or heartbeat. The body takes what it needs, lets go of what it does not, and begins again. There is wisdom in this hidden furnace. It teaches us that transformation is constant. What enters you is not lost. It becomes part of you. The apple you eat becomes energy for thought. The grain becomes muscle. The water becomes blood. You are, in truth, woven from the meals of countless days, sustained by the earth's gifts, carried within. It also whispers that letting go is as important as receiving. To hold on to everything would poison. The body knows to release what it cannot use, to cleanse itself, to renew. So too in life, to accept what nourishes and to let go of what harms is the way of balance. Think too of the humility of this system. It works in silence, deep within, unnoticed unless disrupted. Yet without it, the body would weaken, the heart would falter, the brain would dim. It labours in shadows, unseen yet indispensable. As you listen, imagine this journey within yourself. Food entering chewed, softened, swallowed. The slow descent into the stomach, the churning, the dissolving, the release into winding passages, the absorption, the transformation. The partnership of liver, gallbladder, pancreas, each adding their touch. The slowing in the large intestine, the gathering of water, the labour of bacteria, the final release. A cycle, unbroken, serving you with every meal, every sip, every day of your life. And remember that even this system connects with all the rest. The energy absorbed fuels the heart's beat, the lungs' breath, the muscles' tide, the brain's spark. Without digestion, nothing moves, nothing thinks, nothing dreams. It is the hidden furnace, but its fire warms the whole body. In its way, digestion is also a story of trust. You place something from the outside world into your body, and the body makes it part of you. Fruit from a tree, grain from a field, meat from an animal, water from a river, all are welcomed, broken down, transformed, absorbed. In eating, you join yourself to the world. You're not separate, but connected, sustained by what grows and lives around you. As our journey continues, we will not leave this furnace entirely, for its helpers still wait to be explored. In the next part, we will look closer at the liver, the kidneys, and the guardians that cleanse and purify, the filters of life, the silent workers who keep the blood clean, who restore balance, who ensure that what enters and what remains are always in harmony. The body is a land of endless motion. Food becomes energy, air becomes breath, blood becomes river. Yet with all this motion comes waste, byproducts, shadows of what is useful. And just as a great city needs cleaners, caretakers, and filters to keep its streets from overflowing, so too does the body rely on silent guardians. The liver, the kidneys, and other organs whose work is cleansing, balancing, purifying. They labour quietly, without fanfare, yet without them life would cloud and fade. Let us begin with the liver, the grand chemist of the body. It rests beneath the ribs on the right side, broad and reddish-brown, heavy yet soft, the largest organ within. Imagine it as a laboratory, working day and night, crafting, filtering, transforming. Blood from the digestive tract flows straight to it, rich with nutrients but also crowded with toxins, impurities and raw materials. The liver sorts it all, keeping what is good, breaking down what is dangerous, storing what is needed for later. It produces bile, that green-gold fluid stored in the gallbladder until called for. When fat enters the intestine, bile flows like a cleansing river, breaking it down, scattering droplets so enzymes can finish the work. But bile is only one of its gifts. The liver also stores glucose, the simple sugar of energy, saving it for moments when the body is hungry. It manufactures proteins that help blood clots so wounds may heal. It clears toxins from the blood, dismantling them into harmless fragments. The wisdom of the liver lies in its quiet versatility. It does not do one thing, but hundreds, each tiny task adding to balance. And though it works constantly, it also heals. Few organs are so forgiving. Cut a piece from the liver, and it grows back, knitting itself together. It is a reminder that some strengths lie in resilience, in the power to repair and continue. From the liver, let us move downward to the kidneys, two small bean-shaped organs nestled in the lower back. They are smaller than the liver, but their labour is no less vital. Each one is a filter, drawing blood through thousands of tiny structures called nephrons. Picture them as endless sieves, each drop of blood passing through, each particle of waste caught and removed. The kidneys' work is constant. Every day they filter gallons upon gallons of blood, separating what is useful from what is not. Water, salts, minerals, carefully balanced, adjusted, returned to the blood. Waste, toxins, excess, passed into urine, carried away. It is not only cleansing, but balance. Too much water and the kidneys release it. Too little, and they conserve. Too much salt and they spill it. Too little, and they hold it close. They are the guardians of equilibrium, adjusting quietly, invisibly, moment by moment. And beyond filtering, the kidneys also guide. They release hormones that help control blood pressure, that guide the making of red blood cells, that strengthen bones. Small as they are, their influence extends throughout the body. Think of the journey of a drop of blood through the kidney. It enters, flows into a glomerulus, a cluster of tiny vessels where pressure pushes water and small molecules outward into a collecting tube. Larger things like proteins and cells remain behind, safe. The tube bends and twists, reabsorbing what is still needed, sugars, salts, water, and discarding the rest. By the end, the blood emerges cleansed, while urine flows away, carrying waste from the kingdom. It is humble work, but profound, for without it, waste would gather, poison would spread, balance would shatter, and yet the kidneys do not complain, do not falter, unless pushed to exhaustion. They are faithful guardians, filters of life. Together the liver and kidneys embody the hidden wisdom of the body, that to live well one must both take in and let go. The liver transforms, the kidneys filter, each ensuring that what remains within is good, what is harmful is released. In their work lies a metaphor, to cleanse the mind as well as the body, to filter thought, to release bitterness, to hold only what nourishes. And there are other filters too. The spleen, tucked beneath the ribs on the left, is the recycler of blood, breaking down old red cells, preparing their parts for new use, strengthening immune defences. The skin, in its way, is also a filter, releasing sweat to cool and cleanse. Even the lungs filter, catching dust, pushing it outward with tiny cilia, keeping airways clear. The body is filled with guardians, each one standing watch, each one ensuring purity and balance. As you listen, imagine these organs at work within you. The liver, quietly transforming blood, storing, creating, cleansing. The kidneys, filtering rivers drop by drop, maintaining balance, guarding against excess. The spleen, recycling and defending. The skin, the lungs, all releasing what must be released. You may not feel their labour, but it continues every moment, unseen and unceasing. There is a hidden gentleness here. We often think of strength as holding on, as keeping, as accumulating. But the body teaches otherwise. Strength is also in letting go, in cleansing, in balance, in renewal. The liver, the kidneys, the filters of life remind us that survival depends not only on what we keep, but also on what we release. And so, as our journey continues, we leave these guardians at their posts, faithful as ever. Ahead lies another realm of hidden influence, one not of filters or furnaces, but of whispers. For beyond the organs of cleansing lies the endocrine system, the secret messengers of the body. In the next part, we will follow those messengers, the hormones that drift quietly through the blood, shaping growth, mood, and balance, in ways as unseen as breath, yet as powerful as fate. The heart beats, the lungs breathe, the liver cleanses, the kidneys filter. These are forces we can picture, tasks we can sense. But there is another system within you, one less obvious, less visible, yet no less powerful. It does not pump or push, does not churn or filter. Instead it whispers. It sends messages carried in the blood, subtle and unseen, guiding growth, shaping energy, stirring emotion, balancing the body's inner rhythm. This is the endocrine system, the hidden council of secret messengers. Imagine it as a group of quiet figures seated in the body's chambers, each one holding a vial of chemicals. They do not shout orders. They release droplets into the bloodstream, and those droplets, hormones, drift through the body like messengers in the dark. They are carried by blood into every corner, and when they arrive, cells listen. A tiny signal changes everything. A single whisper can guide growth, can trigger hunger, can spark love, can calm fear. At the base of the brain rests the pituitary gland, often called the master. It is no larger than a pea, yet it directs the orchestra of hormones with remarkable authority. It sends out orders to the thyroid in the neck, to the adrenal glands above the kidneys, to the gonads that shape reproduction. It is the conductor of whispers, guiding balance across the entire body. The thyroid sits at the throat like a butterfly, small yet essential. It governs metabolism, the pace at which the body burns fuel. When it whispers faster, the body quickens, energy surges, heart races, weight falls. When it whispers slower, the body calms, the fire burns lower, energy fades, weight gathers. Its balance is delicate, its influence profound. Above the kidneys lie the adrenal glands like tiny caps, yet they hold the power of storms. When danger threatens, they release adrenaline, flooding the body with energy, heart racing, muscles ready, eyes wide, senses sharpened. A fight or flight response, ancient and primal, is their gift. But they also release cortisol, the stress hormone, shaping how the body endures strain, how it finds fuel in challenge, how it holds steady in long trials. Too much, and the body wears thin. Too little, and strength falters. They are guardians of survival, balancing crisis and calm. The pancreas, nestled behind the stomach, joins this council as well. It releases insulin, a key that unlocks cells, allowing sugar from blood to enter, fueling energy. Without insulin, sugar lingers in the blood, cells starve, and balance shatters. With it, the body thrives, nourished by what it consumes. The gonads, ovaries in women, testes in men, are more than vessels of reproduction. They shape the body's form, the pitch of voice, the distribution of strength. They release hormones that stir desire, that guide fertility, that mark the passage from child to adult. They are timekeepers as well, shaping cycles of life, marking transitions. And deep within the brain lies the pineal gland, small and mysterious, long called the seat of the soul. It releases melatonin, the hormone of sleep, guiding the body into rest, aligning rhythm with the cycle of night and day. Each evening, It whispers, "Slow down, dim the lights within, enter the quiet of slumber. Without it, nights grow restless, balance slips. With it, the body finds its natural tide." The wisdom of the endocrine system lies in its subtlety. Unlike muscles that move or bones that hold, hormones act invisibly. They do not announce themselves. You cannot see insulin travel, cannot feel melatonin drift, cannot hear adrenaline released. Yet you feel their effects in every moment, in hunger and fullness, in wakefulness and sleep, in growth and healing, in joy and sorrow. This system also reminds us of balance. A whisper too loud or too quiet can change everything. Too much thyroid hormone, and the body races like fire. Too little, and it drifts like ash. Too much cortisol, and stress wears the body down. Too little, and energy falters. Harmony is the key. The body, through feedback and adjustment, seeks it constantly. There is also a lesson in patience. Hormones act slowly compared to nerves. A nerve spark is instant, touch a flame, and you pull away at once. But hormones are like tides, shifting over minutes, hours, even years. Growth from child to adult is their work, guided not by sudden spark but by steady whisper. Puberty, aging, cycles of fertility, the slow drift of sleep and wake, all are the art of hormones. They teach us that change is not always sudden. Sometimes it is gradual, steady, almost invisible, until one day we see its full shape. As you listen, imagine these messengers within you. Tiny droplets drifting through blood, carrying instructions. One tells cells to divide, another tells them to rest. One calms the heart, another excites it. One shapes bone, another fuels muscle. Like letters carried across a city, they arrive at their destinations, and the body responds. And remember too how this system ties the body to the world around it. The pineal gland listens to light and darkness, aligning the body with the day. Adrenal glands respond to threat and challenge, shaping survival. Hormones of hunger rise with emptiness. Hormones of satiety fall with fullness. You're not separate from your environment. Your inner whispers are always responding to outer life. The endocrine system is a hidden counsel, unseen, unheard, yet ruling with quiet authority. It shows us that power need not be loud. It can be soft, subtle, almost invisible, yet no less profound. As our journey continues, we move from these whispers of balance to another kind of unseen guardianship. For within the blood and tissues lie warriors, defenders, silent and watchful. In the next part, we will explore the immune system, the quiet army that protects, repairs, and ensures that life's delicate harmony endures against shadow and storm. The body is a land of constant exchange. Air enters, food is consumed, water flows in, warmth and waste flow out. Every breath, every sip, every bite opens the door to the outside world. And though much of what enters is nourishment, some things arrive as intruders, bacteria, viruses, toxins, invaders unseen. To face them, the body carries within it an army. Not an army of noise or spectacle, but one of silence, patience, and precision. This is the immune system, the silent guardians of life. Imagine for a moment that your body is a vast walled city. The skin is the outer wall, strong yet porous, touched by rain, wind, and sun. But inside the gates stand watchful sentinels, ready to sense anything unfamiliar, anything that threatens the peace within. These sentinels are cells, countless and varied, patrolling blood and tissue, each with its own role, its own wisdom. The first line of defense is the innate system, ancient and fast. It does not ask questions, it responds at once. White blood cells like macrophages move like wandering guardians, engulfing intruders, breaking them down, clearing the streets. Neutrophils swarm to sites of injury, like a sudden rush of guards, overwhelming what enters before it can spread. These are the foot soldiers, swift and unhesitating, acting before the mind even knows a wound exists. But there is also the adaptive system, slower, more deliberate, more cunning. Here are the specialists, the strategists. B cells craft antibodies. tiny keys that fit into locks on invaders, marking them, disabling them, guiding others to destroy them. T-cells come in many kinds: helpers that coordinate, killers that strike infected cells, memory cells that remember every battle fought. Together they create not only defense but learning. Once the body meets an enemy, it remembers, standing stronger if it returns. This memory is the hidden brilliance of immunity. Long after a fever fades, long after an infection ends, the body carries the record. Antibodies linger, memory cells wait. When the same intruder tries again, the Guardians respond faster, sharper, stronger. The body remembers what the mind forgets. But the immune system is not always war. It is also healing. When the skin is cut, platelets rush in, clotting blood, sealing the wound. White cells arrive, clearing debris, releasing signals that call for repair. Fibroblasts weave new tissue, capillaries sprout, skin knits. What was broken is made whole again, guided by the quiet work of cells. There is wisdom here too. The immune system shows us that protection is not only about strength, but about balance. Too weak, and invaders overrun. Too strong, and the Guardians turn on the self, mistaking friend for foe. This is the mystery of autoimmune disease, when the body misreads its own tissues as enemy. In its caution, it harms itself. The lesson whispers, even in defense, balance is essential. Consider also how the immune system is not only within but also in partnership. The bacteria of the gut, trillions of them, are not enemies but allies. They aid digestion, shape immunity, teach the body how to distinguish friend from foe. Without them, the immune system falters. With them, it thrives. You're not only yourself, but a community, host to countless unseen companions who walk with you in mutual trust. Think of how immunity is trained over time. A child falls ill, recovers, and grows stronger. The Guardians learn, adapt, remember. Vaccination too is part of this story. A teaching, a rehearsal. The body is shown a fragment, a harmless echo of an intruder, and from it the immune system learns. When the real enemy comes, the body is already prepared. The silent Guardians sharpen their swords long before battle begins. As you rest now, imagine these Guardians within you. Tiny cells patrolling blood vessels like watchmen along a wall. Some stand at borders, the skin, the lungs, the gut, ready to sound alarm at the first breach. Others wander deeper within, seeking signs of trouble, cleaning, repairing, remembering. They work whether you notice or not, day and night, through sickness and health, a tireless force protecting you without your command. And beyond protection, they connect you to the world. Every sneeze, every cough, every cut is an encounter between body and environment. The immune system is the interpreter, deciding what to allow, what to resist, what to remember. It reminds you that you are never separate, but always in contact with life beyond, with soil, with air, with water, with others. The hidden wisdom here is clear. Strength is not the absence of challenge, but the ability to meet it, adapt, and endure. The immune system does not stop intruders from arriving. It meets them when they do, learns from them, grows stronger because of them. So too in life. Difficulty cannot always be avoided, but it can be faced, endured, remembered, and transformed into resilience. And yet, even Guardians rest. In sleep, the immune system renews. Studies show that during rest, the body strengthens its defenses, produces antibodies, repairs tissue. The stillness of night is not wasted but woven into protection. To sleep, then, is not weakness, but part of the defense itself. As you listen, let yourself imagine your own silent Guardians. They are not loud, not frightening, not restless. They are calm, watchful, faithful. They know their task and perform it well. You're not undefended. You are never alone. Within you an army waits, patient and tireless. From here our journey will leave the warriors behind and move into gentler ground, the senses. For if immunity protects the inner world, the senses open the body to the outer one. In the next part, we will explore those 5 delicate bridges: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. the windows through which the body meets the world, and the ways in which the world enters us in return. We have walked through the skeleton's frame, the muscle's tides, the heart's drum, the lung's breath, the blood's rivers, the hidden filters, and the silent guardians. Each system works inwardly, often unseen, often unnoticed. Yet the body is not a sealed chamber. It is not only inward, but outward as well. To live is not only to sustain, but also to experience, to meet the world, to feel it, to know it. And for this, the body carries bridges, the senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. 5 familiar names, but each one vast, each one a gateway. Together they are windows to the world, opening the body to light and colour, to music and voice, to scent and flavour, to warmth and texture. They are the way in which the universe beyond enters the kingdom within. Let us begin with sight, perhaps the most dominant of all. 2 eyes rest in their sockets, small globes filled with fluid, covered by lids that blink and shield. Yet within them lies an astonishing design. Light enters through the cornea, bends through the lens, strikes the retina at the back. Here, millions of photoreceptor cells wait, rods that sense dim light, cones that sense colour. They catch photons, the smallest sparks of light, and turn them into signals. These signals travel down the optic nerve, racing into the brain, and there, in the occipital lobe, the miracle happens. Light becomes image, becomes tree, becomes face, becomes sky. What the eyes capture is not sight until the brain weaves it. There is wisdom here. We do not see the world directly, but through interpretation. The brain stitches patterns from light, shaping reality from signals. Sight is not only perception, but creation. Now listen inwardly, for hearing is the next bridge. The ear gathers vibration. The outer ear, curved and ridged, funnels sound into the canal, where it strikes the eardrum, a thin membrane, trembling with each wave of air. The vibrations pass through 3 tiny bones, the smallest in the body: hammer, anvil, stirrup. They amplify, transmit, push into the cochlea, a spiral chamber filled with fluid. Inside, hair cells bend with the waves, releasing signals into nerves. And once again, the brain weaves them into meaning: the whisper of wind, the laughter of a friend, the rise of music, the rhythm of language. The lesson of hearing is patience, for sound is fleeting, a vibration gone as soon as it comes. To hear is to attend, to be present in the moment, to let vibration pass into meaning before it fades forever. The sense of smell is quieter, often overlooked, yet powerful. As you breathe, molecules drift upward into the nasal cavity, where tiny receptors wait. Each molecule fits into its receptor like a key into a lock, unlocking recognition. The smell of rain, of smoke, of flowers, of bread baking. Each is carried by invisible molecules, captured and translated into memory and emotion. For smell is tied to the limbic system, the seat of feeling. A single scent can summon childhood, can stir longing, can awaken joy or sorrow. It is the sense most rooted in memory, the whisper of past moments made present again. Taste too works through chemistry. The tongue is covered in papillae, tiny bumps, each filled with taste buds. Within them, cells wait for signals: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, savoury. Each flavour is a note, and together they compose meals into symphonies. But taste does not work alone. It joins with smell, with texture, with sight and sound, creating the experience we call flavour. A single bite is a collaboration, many senses working in harmony, and then touch. Perhaps the oldest, most universal of all. For even before eyes open, even before ears hear, a child feels touch. The skin is covered in receptors. Some sense pressure, some heat, some cold, some vibration, some pain. They connect us to the world and to each other. A hand resting on the shoulder, a hug, a brush of wind. Touch carries comfort, carries warning, carries connection. It is the language of closeness, the reminder that we are not alone. Together the senses form a chorus. Each tells its own story, but together they create the world. Imagine eating a piece of fruit. Sight brings the colour, sound the crunch, smell the fragrance, taste the sweetness, touch the texture. Alone, each is partial. Together, they are complete. The world we know is stitched from these threads, woven into a tapestry of experience. But the senses also teach humility, for they are not perfect. Eyes can be deceived, ears can mishear, taste can dull, touch can mislead. What we call reality is filtered, interpreted, shaped by limitations. The body does not give the world as it is, but as it can perceive. This is not flaw, but truth. Perception is always partial, always coloured by our own nature, and perhaps the deepest wisdom lies in how the senses connect inner and outer. Without them, the body might live, but it would not experience. With them, the universe enters us. Light becomes image, vibration becomes sound, molecules become memory, pressure becomes comfort. Through them, the outer world becomes part of the inner life. As you listen, think of your own senses, the weight of what touches your skin, the sounds in the air around you, the images your eyes have carried today, the flavours you've known, the scents that lingered. Each one is a gift, a doorway through which the world reaches you, and as our journey nears its end, we must bring all together. The skeleton's strength, the muscles' movement, the heart's rhythm, the lungs' breath, the blood's rivers, the filters, the whispers, the guardians, the senses, all converge in one harmony. For in the final part, we will see the body not as pieces, not as systems, not as separate functions, but as a whole. The body at rest, united in stillness, every system working together, carrying us gently into life and into sleep. We have walked through the corridors of the body, we have traced its bones and muscles, listened to its heartbeat, followed the rivers of blood, wandered the bellows of breath, entered the hidden furnaces, the filters, the whispers, the guardians, and the windows to the world. Each part has told its story, yet none of these exist in isolation. They are not separate rooms, but chambers in a single cathedral. Tonight, as we bring this journey to its close, we pause to see the body not in pieces, but whole. A harmony in stillness. Imagine yourself lying down, the body at rest. The skeleton cradles you, its architecture silent, holding your weight against the earth. Muscles soften, releasing tension, no longer pulling, no longer straining. The skin stretched across the frame feels the quiet brush of air, the touch of cloth. Beneath it all, the heart continues its rhythm, steady and faithful like a drumbeat far below the surface. The lungs rise and fall, tides of breath washing gently in and out. The rivers of blood flow onward, carrying life to every corner. And deeper still, the brain hums with soft electricity, guiding, balancing, dreaming. Though each system has its own task, together they weave one experience, being alive. The body is not a machine with separate gears, but a symphony, each instrument tuned to the others. When you walk, muscles move bones, lungs breathe deeper, the heart quickens, blood flows faster, glands whisper messages, immune cells patrol. When you rest, muscles release, heart slows, breath deepens, hormones guide you into sleep, guardians repair and heal, always together, always in harmony. There is a wisdom here, hidden in plain sight. Life is not noise, but balance. The body thrives not by the dominance of one part, but by the cooperation of all. The strongest bone would break without muscles to move it. The most powerful heart would falter without blood to carry. The sharpest mind would fade without oxygen from the lungs, fuel from the gut, whispers from hormones. Each depends on the others, each completes the whole, and so too in life beyond the body. No one stands alone. Every person is part of a larger harmony, sustained by connections, by balance, by unseen threads of care and giving. The lesson of the body is also the lesson of the soul. Wholeness comes through unity, through cooperation, through rest as much as effort. As you listen, imagine all your systems settling together into stillness. The skeleton rests, muscles soften, Skin relaxes. The heart slows into its quiet rhythm. The lungs fill and empty gently, like waves on a silent shore. Blood flows in calm rivers, no longer rushing, simply drifting. The liver, kidneys and guardians work steadily, cleansing and balancing without your notice. Hormones whisper, guiding the body toward rest. Immune cells patrol quietly, repairing, protecting. The senses soften, the world grows dim, the body turns inward. This is harmony, this is rest. Not the end of life, but the pause that renews it. Every night the body enters this state, a cycle as natural as breath. In sleep, bones repair, muscles grow, memories settle, immune guardians strengthen, whispers of hormones realign. Stillness is not absence, it is creation, hidden beneath silence. And in this harmony lies a deeper truth. You are not separate from the cosmos. Just as stars burn with rhythm, just as oceans rise and fall, just as forests breathe with day and night, your body too carries cycles. Heartbeat, breath, sleep, wake. You are a reflection of the universe, a smaller cosmos within the greater one. The same laws that guide galaxies guide your blood, your lungs, your rest. To see the body whole is to see yourself as part of everything. Let us linger here for a moment, in gratitude. Gratitude for bones that carry, for muscles that move, for skin that shields, for heart that beats, for lungs that breathe, for blood that nourishes, for organs that cleanse, for whispers that guide, for guardians that protect, for senses that open the world. Gratitude for the harmony of it all, for the quiet work that sustains you, unseen yet unceasing. Now, as the journey closes, feel the weight of your body as it rests. Notice the stillness, the way systems you cannot command continue their work faithfully. You're not required to hold everything. The body holds itself. You may let go, you may drift, you may rest. The story of human anatomy is vast, filled with science, detail, complexity. But tonight, it has been told as a lullaby, a journey not of charts and diagrams, but of imagery and rhythm. And in this story, perhaps the most important truth has revealed itself, that the body, though intricate, is also simple in its wisdom. It reminds us to move and to rest, to take in and to release, to fight and to heal, to open and to close, to be whole. As this exploration ends, the body remains, your faithful companion carrying you onward, sustaining you through every moment. Let it be a comfort to know you are supported, you are protected, you are alive, and you are whole. And so we end where we began, in stillness, the body at rest, harmony and silence, carrying you gently into sleep.